if you want to have a look at my birds, that's my red family, my base family. In this front section of the loft here, if you come over here, in the front section here, we've got pigeons that represent 6 generations of winners. And, not a very easy thing to do, but through fairly selective breeding it can be done. 7 generations coming up for next year, hopefully. Would you like to have a look at a few of them?
What are the bloodlines consist of then?
Well, they're a little bit of a mixture. We've had a few introductions in them in the last couple of years, but basically they're Tommy Booth Barkers. They come from Alan Diggins pigeons. There's 3 of them actually. The whole family is founded on 3 pigeons. And that went for a couple of generations before we introduced any crosses, and now we've got probably about 4 or 5 crosses into them, hens and cocks. But they still maintain the same type, and they still maintain winners each generation, so I'm quite happy with them. They are, in fact, a bit of a mixture now, so we couldn't call them any one thing or another.
Can we go inside and have a look at them?
Yeah, I'll show you
the old bird first.
Come on. Let's go in and have a look, eh? Okay. I tell you what, Kev, if you're interested, we'll go through a few of them. All right, that'll be fine. If they'll stay still for us. The first one I'll test with you is the oldest one. Now this one here, he was 8th in the Fed in Victoria. Won all the pools up to $5, I believe. He's 16 years old now, that old cock, and he's still filling. Yeah, he's still filling. So far this year I haven't clocked anything of note. Last year I clocked the blue cock here. He was 2nd section, 21st open from Cobar, 550 miles. The only pigeon that beat him was a night bird. He was home early in the morning and won most of the pools. Yeah, he's one of the originals. That one there. He's still full-bodied for his age and still filling now. So I hope to get a few for him that I can put back to stock this year. I think that may be just about his last year. And if we can turn around, if you'll chase that little hen over here for me. That's it. She's one of the other originals, or one of the originals. She's 14 years old now, and she's not filling. We'll leave her there. She's not filling, but still a very nice hen. Okay. The third of the 3 originals that are still in here is this cock. I bred him myself in 1977, I think his ring number is. Yeah, 1978, I'm sorry. I bred him myself in 78. From, again, pigeons from Alan Diggins that were Tommy Booth's birds. Still pretty good for his age. He's only ever had 1 race in his life, that bird, as a 3-year-old, and he ran 2nd. And then I won the next week with his daughter, so I've kept him for stock ever since, and thank goodness I did.
How old is this fellow?
78. He's 10 years old now, that bloke. Not too bad.
He's having got a nice eye.
Yeah, he has. They've all got fairly good strength of eye about them. I think I'll get a couple more years out of him yet before he's finished. Now they're virtually the oldest that I've got from this line of pigeons. They were the start. The next generation was the red pied, the little hen up here. If I can get her and show it to you, she's a beautiful hen. There we go.
I can see that they're not used to being in this hen.
No, they're not. But she is an absolute beautiful hen, and she flew for 5.5 years on the wing. She's a winner, a place getter in the section. She's won the pools in the section 3 different damn times, so she's no slouch, that one. I had to pull her off the road in the 5th year because I'd been breeding from her after racing for 3 previous years, and she bred me winners every year, so I just had to stop it, and I'm glad I did. She is virtually the dam of nearly every other generation in here. The old birds I breed for stock virtually, but everything I breed from her races and produces, and that's a good family when they keep producing.
She's certainly got a nice feel in the feather too.
She's got a beautiful body about her too. If you think that last one was nice, well, this is one of her first daughters, and she's pretty famous down the club. I think everybody knows her down the club. Like her mother, she flew for 4.5 years, this one, and she's a winner and a place getter. And I think her biggest claim to fame is she's won about $650 in pool money in club and section over the past 3 or 4 years. But again, like her mother, she produces for me, and she's produced better pigeons than her mother again. So she's retired just this year, and she's going to stay retired. Would you like to have a look at her, mate?
Is this the one that you call the Scalpy hen?
That's her. She got that in a crate. She's flown the distance.
Oh, got a nice silky feather.
She has, like her mother. She's flown the distance. She's flown Goulburn, not this year, but 4 or 5 years ago. She's flown Goulburn. She's flown Mackay. She's flown on the west out to the distance, and always been a very, very reliable sort of a pigeon. Not a very tame one. But again, like her mother, she's better at breeding than she is at racing. I've only raced last year and this year youngsters from that hen. And last year I got about 9 cards out of her youngsters. I think 4 of them were section cards. One of her sons in particular was 7th section Young Bird Derby, 4th in the combine from Collar Enterprise, which is about 300 and something miles, and won the pools in that race, or most of them again. This year, one of her daughters over here in the stock loft now, due to injury, she can't fly anymore this year. She's a double winner. Her nestmate's a second place getter this year. That's a little hen on the bottom there.
We can have a look at them after.
You can have a look at them after. In 2 years of breeding, she's given me 4 winners, about 4 or 5 place getters, 4 or 5 section places. I mean, you couldn't wish for anything more. So she stays in the stock loft now.
Certainly got a nice pearl eye.
Yeah, another thing about her is I think I've got 11 youngsters out of her in 2 years, and I've only lost one of them. So that suits me. That's the sort of pigeon I want. Off you go, baby. Fairly tame, as you can see.
Can we have a look at the yellow hen down? You've got another little hen bee.
Yeah, well, we've got sisters to her. We've got a sister to her in the corner there, if you can see her. That's her half-sister, again out of the old red hen. Never flown, but produced. She is, in fact, the mother to the one up at the top here.
Certainly looks nice.
Oh, he's beautiful. We'll show you him if you like.
Yes, all right.
Okay, that's him. He's probably one of the best of the lot, this one. He's a beautiful big cock. A couple of these you'll notice a bit dirty around the wattle. They're feeding at the moment. I've just started breeding on their first round. You have a look at him, Kev.
He got a strong back on him.
He was very good last year. He was the cock that was second section, 21st Open from Cobar. He was a very good pigeon as a youngster. I haven't raced him at all this year. I'm breeding from him, but I'll race him again next year, and for a few years, I hope.
They will have that one. That nice silky texture. The whole family.
Yeah, they've all got a bit of a shine to them. They're fairly healthy. My main aim with the pigeons is to keep them healthy, whether they're stock or race pigeons.
So we're going to help them too.
Yeah, always healthy. They're a bit jumpy in this cage. This is not their normal cage, but we'll put it in here to have a look at them.
Certainly nice bird there.
Off you go, mate. It's not going to sit around. Yeah, there's a couple more in that generation of note. There's the dark checkered cock there in the middle.
Can we have a look at him?
Yes, if you like, There we go. He's another daughter of the Scalpy hen, another son rather of the Scalpy hen. He got a first place at about 250 miles, and he got a third place at Walgett, 300 and something miles, just on dark. And he just beat his mother home by 1 minute rather. He got the place and she got the pools again, which is a usual forte. I'm breeding from him this year as well.
A silky feather is still coming through.
A little bit of size to those pigeons too. Yeah, very good in the wing.
They're very good in the wing.
Very strong eye, that one. Good full circle, very wide.
Beautiful.
Oh, this would. he's at stock now. He's breeding now. He'll race again next year, but I think I'll breed something. He's only on the ring there, Kev. 86.
86,
Yeah.
2-year-old.
2-year-old. In his second year now.
Certainly strong, but
Yeah, very strong. Very nice pigeon. I like him. And then, well, that's the next generation again. So I'll catch her and give you a look at that. She's last year. She raced this year. Just on 3 weeks ago now, I had to pull her out of racing. I had to pull her out of racing, and you can see why. A nasty old hawk got at her on the way home. The only bayed race she's had. Ripped most of her tail out and some of the secondary, so she was finished for the year. But I wanted to breed from her anyway. Prior to her getting hawked, she won 2 races in the club. She had about 5 races straight where she won something, which was pretty good. She won a trophy this year, memorial trophy for one of the chaps that was put on. And she's eggy now, so handle her gently. I've got her paired back to her great-great-grandfather, the red cock up in the corner there.
her racing career is over?
No. It's over for this year, but hopefully I'll get the next 3 or 4 years out of her like the 2 previous generations.
Certainly send that wing feather in. Flights all down through one family.
Yeah. They're much the same sort of pigeons.
Same eye coming through.
Quite a nice
Anyway,
female.
let her go.
Yeah, let her go. She's a bit jumpy because she'll be laying an egg this morning. Very tame in that one. Well, that's about it. There's a couple of others in here. There's the little red hen down there. She's a race winner this year. She was an 86 bred pigeon. Flew well last year. A race bird in the first series. She's had a good win in the first series this year. So virtually I've got 6 generations in here now, and they're all winners. So, yeah. I might get you a couple of them if you want. Okay. Now that's my base family.
What other families have you got there?
Well,
Can we have a look at them?
Yeah, you can. They're mostly behind you here. If you like to have a look there, Kev. We've got the top row there. We've got 1, 2, 3. Yeah, Kev. Well, the other families we've got virtually 3 other families here. The top row in there, as you can see, they're all Stan Grahams. Straight Stan Grahams from his original stuff. The next 2 rows underneath there, they're all reference J pigeons, and I think we all know what reference J's are. The other family that we've got, as you know, we're in partnership with Peter Pay's pigeons from his sale there last year. We've now got 8 pairs of those. Haven't raced any yet, but we think they're going to be probably better than anything we've got now. They're up at Peter at your lot. Before we close on the stock pigeons, I'd just like to come back to the reds. So far this year, we're probably about 2/3 of the way through. I've got 5 wins and 3 places out of my red family already. And out of the reference J pigeons, I've got 2 wins and I think 3 seconds and a couple of other minor placings. And that's in a 30-member strong club. Takes some doing to win that. It puts a smile on your face every time you win it, because it's very hard to win. Yeah.
No, that's very clear.
Yeah. All right, Jeff, coming over, we'll have a look. Well, I don't fly like most other people. I don't fly to the perch. I fly mainly like the overseas people, like the Continental and the English people. I fly my pigeons paired up. To the nest, to eggs, to youngsters, etc. I've been doing that for about 8 years now, and I'm learning, I'm getting a bit better at it each year. And it's far better than flying to the perch. Have a look. Yeah, I get some incentive out of it. Okay, well, we'll start with the cocks that are going next week, okay? We've got them here. We've got a ring race on next week. I've got 12 entries for the ring race next week. I've got 5 of these cocks in here, and that's my main hope, the fella that just came off his egg. Yeah, he'll be sent away when his eggs are just hatching. He will just have hatching eggs the day he's sent away, and he'll have all pools on him. Okay, at the moment you'll be able to see they're just sitting on perches. It probably won't race for another 3 or 4 weeks, and by that time they will be paired up, they'll be sitting on eggs, and some of them will be sitting on youngsters.
For the long distance races.
For the long distance race. Also do it on anything up to, from about 300 miles onwards. It doesn't work very well on the short races, and there's no point to it actually. But there they are. They get out and they have an exercise in the morning and they sit most of the day. I keep them separated from the hens. There's even a partition in there that you can't see through. They're totally away from the hens all week. And then the day that I put them on marketing for the short races, I let them go together. And just give them that incentive to get home. When they get home, I leave them together for a little while. He's about my only hope for the ring race out of the cocks there, coming up this week. But if we have a look in the next section here, we've got the same setup, but we've got the hens this time.
The locks are nice and airy too.
Yeah, they are very airy. And you can have a look, they're identical sections, that section and the next section. There's Mother Pool Bird, the hen right up on top, and again she's sitting on eggs. Two hens mated together, they're all hens in here. They were mated together, so I took advantage of it. I put the bowl in them, I put a couple of eggs in there. They'll be sitting a week when I send them away. And I'll have my pool money on both of those hens. That's the way I do it. I need that bit of incentive, or the pigeons need that bit of incentive, so do I, to put my money on. And it usually pays off. I would say 9 times out of 10, if I send 2 in that sort of situation, out of 20 I'll get those 2 first.
Very interesting. We have a look at one of those things, Danny, later on.
Yeah, okay, fine. And just as a point of interest, I'll show you the pigeons we raced on the weekend, last Saturday, 2 days ago. So they're still a little bit tired, but they're in the next section again, and you'll get some idea of what sort of situation it is when they're sent away. Yeah. Now here are the pigeons here, still a little bit tired, but you can see the bowls are still in there. They get their reward when they come home. A couple of lots on eggs, etc. The little blue bar here, right in front of us, the chap that's just gone over the bowl there. Now here was my cockbird. Actually, it's the fellow that's there now, near the bowl. He was my cockbird. He was first club. He was second combine. That's the whole Moorside combine. And he won a pool in the section as well. He's a nice cock. Recovered well. It was an extra hard race on the weekend. He flew 2 weeks ago in the section race. He was 12th in the section, won himself a couple of pools and injured his wing. So it was a pretty good effort on the weekend to come back from an injury 2 weeks later and do well. Now you can see he was mated up 2 days before I sent him away. He was sitting in the bowl with his hen. He just had that bit of incentive to come back. Now, there's another pigeon in here, the one we're looking at, the side here, the dark check at the back there, on the side perch. He was my second bird in, and he was sent in the same condition. Paired 2 days before, had his hen sitting in his nest, and he won our Breeders' Plate in that club. He won $661 for me, and he won $440 for the chap that bred him. Yeah. So they both did a good job on the weekend on an extremely hard race. And they're picking up quite nice.
Good there. Okay. Can we have a look at your breeders' lot? I'd like to see how that's set up. And I understand you're going into widowhood flight.
Yeah, well we are. We've got a new thing coming on, and I set my loft up for it this year, but I don't have the pigeons for it yet. The reference Jay and probably Peter pays pigeons from down south. It's going to take us the next couple of years. If you'd like to come around and have a look at the loft itself, it'll be strictly widowhood, with cocks only, on widowhood, doing it the right way actually. There it is. Yeah, it's not too bad. There it is, as you can see. It doesn't look much like a pigeon loft. It's got louvers right the way across the front. You can close them all together. You can see the ventilation under the bottom. There's no floor in it. It's got a mesh floor all the way through, so the ventilation comes up. You can with the louvers and the closed in conditions you need for it. You must have good ventilation still. I mean, overseas they're okay. It's a lot colder than here. But here it gets very hot. So we're in a position where we need good ventilation and still to be able to close it off. I think I've achieved that, but it's fairly good inside the cave. This year, it was a learning process for both me and the pigeons, but in the next couple of years, I hope to be flying through Whittlewood with that lot and doing well, as I know we will. Oh, yes, you can. There's not a lot to see at the moment. There's one point about it that's different than most other Whittlewood lofts that you'll notice, is I've got stall traps. They're my own design stall traps. Most Whittlewood lofts have got open doors, and the pigeons just fly straight in, and I don't like that idea. Especially not here when we've got, in the 5 surrounding houses, we've got about 13 cats. So I like to control things at all times. So I've got the stall traps. And I don't lose anything. As a matter of fact, I think they're a far quicker way of trapping than the open door. Yeah, and you don't make mistakes with them. Come on over, Kev. You see the opening at the bottom there? The air can go in, circulate through. There's an opening at the back that can be opened and shut. The air comes up through the floor, out through the top here, so it's circulating all the time. When the cocks are on Whittlewood, these need to be shut all the time. You've got a slight draft coming up through, not draft, a slight air coming up through here. Let it come up and out again. So there's plenty of ventilation in it. I can close it off so they can't see out, which is important. I think it will do. You know, it's adapted from the English design and from the Belgian design, but it's adapted to Queensland conditions. And as you know, in Queensland we've got some conditions.
What's the bird up on the trap there?
Well, that's a Whittlewood hen. I've actually got 4 cocks here now this year flying on Whittlewood, as I said before, just to teach me as well as to teach them. She's a little retired racer. She got hurt just a little bit too much to be racing anymore. She's still got a length there. But,
very interesting.
yeah. Well, it's all designed inside as well. It's got all the proper setup inside for the Whittlewood boxes. Like as I said, I don't mind if it takes me 2 or 3 years to get the system down. I'm not in a big hurry to do it because I think you just blow things if you're in a big hurry. You don't have the success that you should have if you take
It is
it
a
easy.
learning process.
Oh yeah, for sure. I don't know of anybody else that flies Whittlewood successfully in Queensland at the moment. And I intend to do that. I hope to do it. So I'll give myself as much time as it needs to do.
Can we have a look inside?
Yes, Ted, you can have a look. I'll show you the system, what we do. Before we go in, I might just say to you that this whole setup was built and designed for the pigeons that are being imported in the next year or two. And as you know, we've got a few pairs on order now. So by the time we get them in and breed from them and are racing those pigeons to a loft like this, I should know what we're doing with the Whittlewood. Yeah, hopefully. Go and have a look. There's not much to see at the moment. I'll have to cut it at that, I think. But leave the floor alone. Leave the rest alone. If I get out of there before